Okay, from ECR, Mr. Halla-aho.
Thank you all for your presentations. I have two questions. First, concerning the widely recognized need to prevent secondary movement and asylum shopping. Would it not be a good idea to clearly and explicitly allow or even oblige member states to automatically reject applications from and refuse entry to people who demonstrably arrive from another member state? That is, systematic pushbacks at internal borders. Currently, it seems to be very unclear which member state is responsible for processing an application if the migrant does not register himself or herself where they are supposed to, the first country of entry. For example, last year, tens of thousands of people entered Europe somewhere in Italy or Greece, travelled through half a dozen member states and ended up in Sweden and Finland. It goes without saying, in my opinion, that the right to apply for asylum was not meant for something like this. If a person arrives from Denmark to Sweden or from Sweden to Finland, he or she obviously already had an opportunity to seek protection, and no application should be accepted. If a member state cannot be considered safe, perhaps it should not be a member state. It's also clear that we cannot have any meaningful relocation system if at the same time people de facto can and do spontaneously choose the country where they wish to apply for asylum. And then a question specifically to Mr. Majani and perhaps Mrs. Moreno. You said the preferences of the asylum seeker as regards the country of relocation should be taken into account. You also said this would not imply a free choice. Well, what would it mean then in practical terms? Also, if you start asking the migrants about their preferences, they all will want to go to exactly the same handful of member states where most of them go now spontaneously. Thank you.
Thank you. From ECR, Mr. Halla-aho.
Thank you. I have some remarks and questions for the first or the second panel.
But please be short, 2 minutes.
I'm doing my best, yes.
Thank you.
Well, in principle, it is a good idea to ask the member states what kind of asylum seekers they want and the asylum seekers where they would like to go. But I just wonder how realistic that is. It seems inevitable that all migrants still want to go to Germany, the Netherlands and Scandinavia, whereas all member states will prefer educated people and families. What do you do with the very large number of young single males who are not educated and who are the central concern from the security and social point of view? The use of language skills as criteria is also problematic for the simple reason that if the asylum seeker knows any language other than his own, that language is much more likely English or French than Danish or Finnish. The use of family ties is also difficult as it will only fuel the concentration of certain groups in certain places, the results of which can be seen all over Europe. So on paper, very nice, but the facts remain that there are few member states where migrants want to go and very few migrants that any member state wants to receive. If you cannot put much weight on the preferences of the asylum seeker anyway, the question arises, why ask at all? If you ask them whether they would like to go to Latvia or Lithuania, and they have never heard of either, but want to go to Germany, does this choice truly increase their agency in the process? Thank you.